I was working on this and I was like, oh crap, I should do a thing. So this is part of a blower, and so it's just a three-phase motor, and then the housing that goes on here is this piece. And so it's a real tight clearance between this cover and that blade. And so, and then that's part of the ducting and it channels it and whatever. Um, so the blower quit working. And then, you get that cover off and you can see it's had collisions. So, sure, yeah, I mean, it's an interference, so it's not going to work. Um, Plus, when I turn it, it was really lumpy. So I'm like, well, duh, there you go. There's a problem, the bearings. Now in the middle, and you'll see in a minute, there's the threads and this washer. Now this castle nut had already been beat up a bit, and I don't really think I added too much to it. I was using obviously a hammer and a punch. I have a couple tools I've made, like this one's just way too big. So I'll probably, if I can get the replacement for it, I'll probably um, get a hex nut if it'll fit inside that case of the cover. So I made this puller real quick. And if I have to reset it, you'll probably see more in a sec. Can we tighten those up? And we'll talk about this puller more in a minute. It's kind of just a cheesy little, obviously, piece of scrap aluminum I had laying around. And then I use calipers to do a quickie measurement. I illegally use the pointy tips to scribe the marks. And it was very crude, very quick. Oh, that one's gonna freeze up on me, so we'll have to make them all that loose. I'll have to be sure to chase the threads with a tap. This is a German motor, so everything's metric. All right, there we go. So that's the back side, and interesting. Except for at the bottom, it looks like it tries to isolate in the middle. And then they never really replaced the filter, so there's all kinds of debris. If I had an infinite supply of 5mm screws, I would not have needed the threaded hole in the middle. Or if I'd have had a longer one, maybe, I don't know. It's just like half of this is just arts and crafts, and you deal with what you've got. This is from an industrial printing machine or a printing. Actually, this is the cutter, and so a commercial printer, they'll print on 40-inch or pretty big paper, so then they use a cutter to slice the paper and trim it to size. So this wow, am I trying to eat my own hair? That's just annoying. So this blower was part of that somehow. I don't know what its function is, but they are missing its function. Yeah, so you can see the threads don't go all the way through, so I'll just chase those with a 5. and then probably gonna deck this on glass with sandpaper. Now the real thing is over here, I need to unbolt this from the motor because everything has to come this way. Now we can't, it's not fair to turn it because it was laying on the fan. Yeah, this thing's grumpy. So there's probably contaminant inside where the bearings are. No real surprise. All right, we need a brush. Do we have a brush? I mean, I know there's brushes, but do we have one within reach? Because, you know, why would I actually prepare for the video? Because it was so impromptu. Honestly, I'm just waiting for UPS to show up. So this is kind of curious. We've got 2 sets of screws. So these outer ones obviously are going to the motor housing. The inner ones, well, that's just kind of interesting. Maybe we'll do these outer ones, give it a little tap. Maybe let's move this sharp fan thing somewhere. I might not hurt myself on it. I mean, it's just a good first step. So it's almost kind of easy to tell metric from not metric threads. Metric threads are nice and tidy and very close. Even the fine pitch standard ones just don't look as attractive. I mean, I'll use standard if, you know, to conform and comply, but for the most part, I'm not real fond of it. I thought I heard that. You have a little bit of separation. There we go. Something's loose. On the back there is the fan, so we have to kind of be cognizant of that. Maybe we need to get rid of these screws in the middle. All right, that's a 3mm drive, so probably 4mm threads. Yay, it sounds like UPS is here, so that's pretty great. If I don't wait for UPS, I have to take the packages to the UPS store. Well, that was a fun sound. Alright, so we've got a seal. Oh, that stinks. Hey, thanks a lot. Have a great weekend. Yeah, so this bearing's trashed right here. And there's a circlip. So I guess next up, and this retains the bearing, and that's just kind of weird. Well, that's going to be a Mensa puzzle, isn't it? I guess the last thing, so wow, all right, this is kind of annoying. So we've got this bearing and it's held on with a circlip, and then this piece behind it is the retainer that goes in the cover. So we're gonna have to undo the retaining clip. Actually, I don't even know if we really need to do that right now, but the next step is gonna be, we're gonna punch this through to get the motor out of the back of the housing. Normally the back of this would have a cover that comes off, but Germans don't really do normal things. I mean, it just doesn't happen that way. So I think what I'll do is turn you around, put you on the workbench. So we're turning you around, you're on the workbench. I checked this over. I didn't see anything magic holding the fan on. Yeah, and we're already getting it. We're gonna get a slightly different size that's catching on the taper. So basically we're pressing the shaft out of the fan. All right, there's the fan. And this bearing's still happy. This one, oh Moses, he's upset. So this was the problem. We had this bearing was bad, and then also somehow the headspace got grumpy and the fan was rubbing on the cover. So we definitely need to replace this bearing. And they're all kind of standardized. I mean, this looks like I might even have one this size already. I don't know, I can't tell. A lot of times it'll be laser etched in the outer race. And if it's deep enough, it'll be etched maybe on the face. I just don't see, it might be on the middle. Typically it won't be written on the shield. Oh, it is 6004 RS. I might very well have a 6004. Cool. So yeah, we're gonna we should really replace that seal though, so we'll have to place an order. So we're just gonna kind of hit at it. They make a seal prying tool. Let's see if this has a number that's easy to read. I mean, it doesn't matter how it looks. Oh, it did have some grumpiness. That's not for me. Pretty much the way you order these is ID by OD by thickness. of your calipers. Oh yeah, calipers. So in the beginning, what I did was, let's turn it on. I measured and just literally eyeballed in here to get the spacing, and I got, like, if you really do carefully eyeball what center to center is, you can usually get pretty close. Close enough that I used 5mm screws on the puller, and then the holes in it were 5.8mm, and they lined up good enough. And that kind of accuracy is good enough when you're just eyeballing stuff. Just don't use a whole lot of force in case something is actually not lined up correctly. Alright, well, that's about that. I mean, motors are pretty simple. They have bearings at each end, and typically the rotor is free. Now, look at this weirdness. There's this, one of these is broken? Or maybe not. No, I guess not. Probably this was done intentionally, maybe as a balancing thing. I thought it was broken, but they look cut. So yeah, we're gonna undo that snap ring, pop that bearing off, look up and order a new seal, and see if we've got that 6004 in stock. So if it comes to it and you can't get the bearing removed, you can put a fork under it kind of and then hammer it out. So anyhow, I'm gonna get the phone. Love y'all. Bye.